So to get myself still more hyped up for Final Fantasy VII, I've been replaying Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion. If you don't know what that is, that's the port. That's the remaster, which pretty much looks like almost a remake. It's a fully remastered, updated UI and pretty much all the controls. And it just really matches up to the aesthetic of a PS4, PS5 game. While it doesn't look peak to the match of like Final Fantasy VII Remake, the fact that it's a port of an old PSP game really shows that it still holds up as far as the gameplay. Now, I beat it when it first came out, and it was actually my first time being able to experience Crisis Core, because that's something as a teenager I really wanted. But fortunately, a PSP was just right outside of my, what I could afford. I couldn't justify one at the time because all I already had a PS2, and I was needing a PS3. But at that point, portable games, I already owned what I wanted. And it wasn't until I got older that I tried to get a hold of one. At this point in time, if I did get one, it was just to collect it. Now it's on PS4 and 5, it made it way easier. But as I was replaying it, it made me realize they had a bunch of characters that I think were lost that could have been really good, and I'm hoping they reintroduce them to Rebirth. They're already starting to reintroduce main villains from Dirge of Cerberus, which is actually going to be amazing. And I'm hoping they have a good primetime showing in Rebirth. But while replaying it, it made me realize that actually for a game that is, well, as old as it is, and on a system that is, pretty much long and dead, it made me realize they put a lot of work into this game. While it's definitely got a new fresh coat of paint, the overall game is still quite amazing for what you got, especially for back then. I mean, it had, at least, if you played it, especially being a portable. Now, my original playthrough was only, I think, 20 hours maybe. Not even that much, probably 18. At this point in time, while I've been replaying it with New Game Plus and all that, trying to basically just max out some stuff and reintroduce myself to the story, because we literally have like 19 days left. And then we'll be getting Rebirth, and not to mention, a few days before that, we'll be getting the part 2 of the demo, which would be amazing. But there was so much potential behind this that they could have actually made a full-on game, I think, at the time on PS3 or PS2. See, Zack was somebody I never got to really understand, because when I played the original game, it was really hard because I was a kid and I was dumb, and I could barely want to read all the big words they had in Final Fantasy VII. In fact, Final Fantasy VII taught me how to read a little bit better than most schools would, because of the huge words they use. But yeah, because of that, I used a dictionary to try to look up a lot of the big words they had. Not to mention, a lot of the words were completely made up for the game. And that was the first time I ran into, issues. Final Fantasy was probably the biggest time I ran into people, pronouncing things different. Bahamut, Titus and Titus. It just depends on what you played, or depends on what it is. It's always had somebody else was like, you're wrong, that's not how you pronounce it. It seems really cool that they were able to port such an amazing game, and honestly, it's really good to be able to fully play it again. I wish they didn't do their other remake, which is that gacha game on phone, iOS and Android, which I do have it, but it sucks that it's not, that port would have worked. If they would have done another mini port and just made everybody pay $20 more, I would have bought that, and instead of being a gotcha, you could play through the whole game in that format, and it would have been perfectly fine. Even if it was Crisis Core, it's included, it's whatever, I'd buy it. They can even do a dumbed down version of Dirge of Cerberus. That would work too. It'd be tremendous if they did it all in that little chibi style, and then all the fights could be the turn-based, super sweet, awesome graphics, which would have worked fine. But unfortunately, they did a gotcha. Now, that's probably the lowest common denominator in games I play. The only reason why I even have 2 gacha games is because I started them really at a weird time where I could get so much free stuff from them. And then I pretty much started from there. And I've only spent money on one of them, which was literally just to get the premium pack. And then they pretty much got rid of that anyway, because when you spent money on Future Fight at one point in time, you got free autoplay. Well, then when they did an update, this massive update completely ruined all my autoplay. So now it costs so many tickets to do autoplay. Well, you can't do autoplay unless you beat that part. Well, the problem with beating that part is you have to manually move everybody around to do the attacks, and I just get bored so quick, because auto-playing, it's fine. I just like unlocking the characters and seeing how good I can level them up. It's just a background thing. But back on topic, basically, it made me realize how much depth they put into the game, because you have a new mechanic that was in it, which is materia merging, which I haven't really got down to all of it. I'm going to be looking up YouTube videos, honestly, to try to get some really better ones. And then I'm going to try to figure out how to level up better, because honestly, it'd be really cool to try to get to 99, because I beat the game at 39 and it wasn't difficult. It's just, it was tedious, and I would really like to actually explore the rest of the game, because like I said, I beat it as quick as I could while doing as very little side missions as possible, and decided to just go ahead and beat it. And now that I've actually started to replay it, I have plenty of time to actually get around to beating it properly, pretty much without not just the story, but all the side stuff, and really get, you know, the enjoyment out of it. But I'm going to try to cut this a little short. I'm just going to let you know, if you haven't bought it, you haven't played it, please, I recommend it. It's definitely a good, nice 10 out of 10 game for what it is, especially being that it wasn't, you know, a full price game at the time. And it's definitely still a fairly long game. If you're a casual gamer, you'll still get a good 20, 30 hours out of it. And if you do a lot of the extra missions and try to do the leveling up and all that, don't forget that it was a portable game, so it's definitely got some competitiveness to it, but the main story is still pretty good. I'd love to see all the characters to make a full return. Genesis was a well-designed villain. I really liked it. He's definitely one of my favorites. Sephiroth is number one on top of that. But it'd be good to see them coming up. So if you haven't played it yet, like I said, I recommend it. Definitely buy it. Give it a try, especially Final Fantasy Rebirth's coming out in, you know, just right under 20 days. It'd be cool. So yeah, I'm going to cut this short. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.